Okay, do you want the ultimate turret saboteur archer build? Then this is the build for you. We're going to go over the skill tree, the items, the abilities, runes, enchantments, all sorts. So let's jump straight in. And this is how our skill tree looks. Now, if you want to see how many points we're starting with, I am starting with this. And let's continue. Now, obviously, there are 6 other skill points you can get. If you get them, I would recommend filling this out. Unfortunately, I don't have them. And if you're doing this build from the start of the game, please bear in mind, you can unlock your specialization until level 20. And then once you do, one side of your path will open up at level 30, one at level 40. So if you are starting from the beginning of the game, work your way to this as best you can, and then fill out the rest of your skill tree. For us, we are going to start in the Rogue core, and I'll try and do this as I would start it, but obviously if you are respecing, go in any order. Starting from our Mage core, we're going to come to the top right and take Invasive Maneuvers. Basically, it just means if you dodge out the way and time it perfectly, you can get a really nice attack in. To the top left, we're going to take Powerful Rebuttal. Gain Precision after a successful defend. Precision means your next charged or final attack will be critical. Going north, we're going to take Pilfer, a really nice control tool ability, deals physical damage and detonates overwhelmed. To the top right, we're going to take Bulwark, 10% physical resistance. To the bottom right, we're going to take Unending Quiver. Activating any ability grants 2 more arrows. To the bottom right, we're going to take Ready Shots. Arrow regeneration plus 20%. To the south of that, Electric Armorer. While wearing different classifications of helmet armor, plus 4 maximum arrows, 15 weapon damage, 25% extra stagger. To the bottom right, Shellbreaker, damage versus armor plus 20%. Loads of enemies in this game have armor and barriers, so this helps tremendously. To the north, Victory Rush. Defeating an enemy with a takedown grants necrotic weapons. Your attacks also apply 25% bonus stagger. To the bottom right, we're going to take Tipped Arrowheads for bow damage plus 10. And to the bottom right again for Enduring Reach. This will upgrade your duration abilities. Duration radius or distance increases depending on the ability. Now coming back to Tipped Arrowheads, we're going to go north for Explosive Trap. Another area tool ability that deals physical damage, detonates overwhelmed, and has a cooldown of 20 seconds. Really, really good. To the top left, we're going to take Desolate Malady, affliction damage plus 10%. To the top left again for Siegebreaker. Again, upgrades tool abilities, deal 25% more damage versus armor and barriers. And to the top right of that, Salt in the Wound. Upgrades duration abilities. Hitting an enemy with a duration ability increases any existing affliction stacks by 1, meaning if they have necrosis and you hit this, an extra stack of necrosis, meaning extra necrotic damage over time. Now coming back to Explosive Trap, we're going to go north to Sharp Edge for penetration plus 15%, and to the top left for Some Motivation, possibly the best rogue ability in the game. Deal 4% more damage per your maximum arrow count, an easy way to get a base extra damage. We're going to come all the way to the bottom right to get Fan of Arrows. Really nice ability to just do a range of arrows across the battlefield. And to the top right gives us our Saboteur specialization at level 20, bear that in mind. Come to the top right again, we're going to take Fortune's Fury. This will deal 4,300 physical damage and is basically like a medieval grenade launcher. To the top right again, we get Fortune's Turret, a really good duration tool ability that deals physical damage and has a countdown of 60 seconds. To the bottom right of that, Determination for physical damage plus 10%. That will boost all of our abilities we're using. And north of the turret, we're going to take Sharper Edge for 15% extra penetration. To the top right of that, Plague Arrow. Basically hold an R tool and they'll charge up our arrows to do necrotic damage. To the north, we're going to take Come Prepared. Maximum arrows plus 2. Again, 8% more damage and arrow regeneration plus 20%. And north again for Trick Shot. Every 5th arrow that strikes a single target splinters into projectiles that may hit nearby enemies. And to the bottom left, Calling the Shot. Every 8th arrow hit grants you Precision. Your final attack grants 3 arrows. Really good ability to regenerate your arrows, but also, once again, gain Precision, charge the final attack on an enemy will be critical. Now once that is filled out, we're going to come back to Some Motivation just over here. In fact, it would be easier if we come to Pilfer. We had Bulwark, so we're going to come to the top left for Leaping Shot, a really nice ability to get you out of danger ASAP. Okay, I realised I put an ability in the wrong place, so ignore what I just said. From Leaping Shot, we're going to come straight to the top left and take Providence, Advantage Duration plus 20%, and to the bottom left for Bag of Tricks. Upgrade your tool abilities. We have low health, you do 25% more damage with tool abilities. Now coming all the way to the top right, we're going to take Swift Rebuke, gain momentum when you perfect dodge or perform perfect defense. To the top right for improved health, 100 extra health. And to the top left for lightning flask, really nice lightning ability, you could use this if you want to, I personally don't. To the bottom left for burst of speed, momentum generation, and then to the north for determination, maximum momentum plus 50, and then to the left, or the right, sorry, tipped arrowheads, maximum arrows plus 2, and that has rounded out the skill tree in this section. Now coming south we have our control and our burst areas to fill out. So, from evasive maneuvers we're going to come south and get endure. Lose 35% less momentum when you take damage. To the bottom right for Reign of Decay, this is an area control ability, costs 1 momentum, really good early game, again you could use this if you want to. To the top right for Salvaged Arrows, arrows gained after defeating an enemy plus 2. To the south for Bated Breath, hold R2 to charge your bow up to an additional level. To the top right for Killer Instinct, stagger from abilities plus 20%. To the north for Breathing Room, upgrades area abilities, the scope of area abilities is greatly increased. And to the bottom right for Time Management, upgrades duration abilities, effects of the duration abilities are increased by 50%. Now if we're back into Killer Instinct, we're going to come south. For Keen Eye, you generate 2 additional momentum from arrow hits. This bonus is doubled when hitting an enemy weak point. To the south, we're going to take Bulwark, arrow regeneration plus 20%. To the top right, we're going to take Reeling Bolt, a really nice electric based ability if you want to use it. To the south, Amperage, electric damage plus 10%. To the top right for Precision Power, gain enhanced damage after defeating an enemy by hitting their weak point. To the bottom right for Mortal Wounds for weak point damage plus 10%, and to the bottom left for Collateral Damage, upgrades area abilities, hitting multiple enemies with a single area ability deals 10% more damage for each enemy hit. Now if we come back up to Keen Eye, which was almost near Reeling Bolt, we're going to come to the bottom left for Determination, maximum momentum plus 50, and bottom left again for Heartseeker, upgrades area abilities deal 20% bonus damage versus health. Now to the top right for Determination, we're going to go up here to Bated Breath, and we're going to come back down here to Innovation, damage versus barrier plus 20%. To the bottom left again for Debilitating Shocks, take 15% less damage from enemies who are shocked. To the bottom left again for More is Better, maximum arrows plus 2, another 8% extra damage. To the bottom left again for Poisonous Precision, defeating an enemy by hitting their weak point grants necrotic weapons, and this now lasts 50% longer. To the top left for Shellbreaker, damage versus armor plus 20%, and to the top left again for Knockout, your charged bow and charged attacks deal critical damage versus enemies at low health. Coming back to Poisonous Precision, we're going to come to the top left for Strong Draw, charged bow damage plus 10%, and Underdog's Bite, hitting 3 or more enemies with an area ability grants enhanced damage. I also realised I had another point in the wrong area because I was playing around with a lightning build. We're not going to take this ability here, we're actually going to come back up to here, up north to Knockout, to top left for Sharp Edge for an extra 15% penetration. Okay, when it comes to items and abilities and all that sort of stuff, let's start. Your main item is obviously going to be your bow, and we're using the Azure Bow. Physical damage, 25% hip fire damage, plus 4 maximum arrows for that extra damage. This bow does not lose accuracy, plus 4 bow damage per maximum arrow capacity once fully upgraded, and I've got a room for 20% hip fire damage on it. For an offhand weapon, I really like the Ariane's Talon. Necrotic damage, 30% necrotic damage. I just like splitting our damage because you will have some enemies that are going to be weak to necrosis, and at that point, melee wielding is probably the better option than using the bow. And an enchantment for plus 40 added necrotic damage. For a main hand, the Weiss Up's Well, this is my go-to for nearly every rogue melee build. Amazing physical damage, plus 15% light attack damage, plus 20% light attack final damage. Gain Rally Party for every 3rd final attack you land. Companion's cooldown is reduced by 15% while Rally Party is active, and I put a rune of 15% damage at high health on it. For a helmet, I love the Golden Cascade. 19% ability damage, so not amazing, but 106 defense, plus 20% stagger, plus 25% takedown damage, plus 15% stagger relative to Lord of Fortune ally strength. Gain health, ultimate, and momentum on takedown. Amount is doubled if lethal, and an enchantment for plus 30 defense. For armor, the Duelist's Code, 65% ability damage at 109 defense, plus 4 maximum arrows, plus 20% hip fire damage, plus 300 stagger on every 4th arrow shot. While you have maximum momentum, you do not spend arrows while using ranged attacks, which is incredible because we have a load of maximum momentum and only one ability that actually uses it. And an affliction plus 15% duration on it, that'll affect things like necrosis, shocked, all sorts. Now for your amulet, I like the All-Mother's Copes, plus 20% tool ability damage, plus 25% tool ability damage versus enemies of low health. Gain 25 momentum on a critical hit with the tool ability, and tool abilities gain added damage from necrotic weapons. For a belt, I really like the Watcher's Hold. Deals necrosis to nearby enemies on potion use, plus 15% necrotic damage, deals 150 necrotic damage in an area on potion use, and applies an additional necrosis stack on use. For rings, the Graven Opal, 20% ranged attack damage, 15% weak point damage, plus 25% ranged attack damage versus barrier. On a weak point hit, gain 10 momentum, and I put an enchantment of 25% tool ability damage to boost these. The final ring, the Bleeding Corvus, plus 15% physical damage, that affects our bow, plus 15% physical resistance, plus 20% physical ability damage versus armor, reflect 20% of any damage taken back to your target while resistance is active, and I put an enchantment of plus 2 max arrows. Now for your runes in Rook's Dagger, these will probably change based on the mission you're doing. I don't really bother, so I just leave passives in. So passive for 2 maximum arrows, a passive for 10 extra percent damage, that's Ascend. I should note this one's called Bombard. And the final rune is Vivify, plus 10% momentum generation. Now for your abilities, we are using Explosive Trap, Area Tool ability, 20-second cooldown, will detonate overwhelmed, but a 25% cooldown duration enchantment on it, meaning it only takes 15 seconds now. Lightning Flask, our only ability that uses momentum, deals electric damage, duration control, doesn't really benefit from any of our tool abilities, but a nice way of just getting those shocked abilities going. I put an enchantment for 10% damage per hit, so if you do get swarmed, which is really easy in this game because you will pull aggro like crazy, amazing ability to use to deal extra damage. The biggest ability we have is the Fortune's Turret, a duration tool, 2000 physical damage with a 60-second cooldown. This is awesome. I've also put a 15% cooldown duration enchantment on this, meaning we can use it more often. And finally our ultimate, it's our amazing medieval grenade launcher. Okay, you can see we're in combat now, just as proof, because I know people just like to see we are playing on Underdog, and it's time for us to start. Now, as you can see, we can load our thing up here and we get that necrosis going. And look at the necrosis we just caused. Again, we have our abilities, if I can press the right button. A huge bomb that does crazy damage, and you can see just how good our swords are. Now again, this is a archery based build, so if you want to see the archery abilities, with a charge attack we do 3,500 damage, and with our hip fires we're dealing almost 1,000 damage per easy hip fire. Now more importantly, we have our turret, so if I throw this out, you'll see just how good this is, and you'll see the cooldown is even quicker. And we can then come in here as well with our lightning, with our shocked, we can even throw our bomb in, and our tools will just do crazy damage to the enemies. And you see the cooldown on this is popping off like mad. Now we can just stay here if we wanted to, and we can hit our hip fires and deal really crazy damage, just like this. But our tools are really at our disposal to use here. As you can see, our bombs are just immense. We deal amazing damage with our crits. And again, we can throw our turrets out and get that easy damage while we hip fire. Now this is the perfect opportunity to show off our potion use. There you go, we've caused necrosis. And again, we compare this with our bomb. Because the cooldown is so quick on it, we can just explode people ASAP. And again, we can come in here with another lightning fast, get the shot, and the enemies will just almost kill themselves. We can just stay at the back. We can use Davrin, for example, to taunt an enemy, to give us some freedom. And we can still throw our bombs out. And they're still taunted, we will not pull the aggro. Throw our turret out again, and it's really that easy. We do crazy damage, our abilities pop like mad, we do shocked, we do necrosis, We can stack up our abilities like that. We can throw enemies off of ledges. It's just so easy to do. And we can charge our bow up to deal necrotic damage just like that, which does incredible amounts as well on hit. I'll show you one more time so you can see their health pool. There you go, that is a huge chunk of damage. 3 stacks of necrosis. Get out of dodge. Get another bomb going like that. It's just awesome as I throw the wrong thing away. We can do our abilities with our R2 and circle if you're playing on PlayStation, which will get you out of dodge just like that. As you can see there, we stop their attack, hit them, and that gives us the freedom to then finish them off. And it really is that good of a build. You basically just pop off these abilities, stay at the back, get people to aggro eventually, and you deal out the passives. You deal out the necrosis, the shocked. Your abilities just regenerate like crazy if you don't use a lightning flask. It's such a great build. So I really hope you have helped. Also, I really hope you have enjoyed. If you have, please drop this episode a like. It helps me amazingly. Let me know what other abilities or items you'd use for this build. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel for more Dragon Age The Veilguard builds, more Baldur's Gate builds. I'm hoping to dip into Path of Exile 2 potentially. Who knows? If you want to support the channel, you can by pressing the join button and becoming a member today. For less than a cup of coffee a month, it helps me tremendously and I greatly appreciate it. But regardless, I really hope you have enjoyed, and if you have, I will see you hopefully in the next one. Bye guys.